Everybody, it's Jason Creel and this is Lawn Care Life. Today I'm going to show you some of the common mistakes I see people make when they're edging with a string trimmer. Now I'm going to teach you the proper way, or at least one way that I have learned to edge a driveway, sidewalk, flower bed, whatever, with a string trimmer, weed eater, weed whacker, whipper, snipper, whatever you call it. But there are some mistakes I see people make. One of the things I see when I'm out working on lawns, you'll see a homeowner out doing their lawn and they'll be edging with a string trimmer, and it's just, you know, it's some things I feel like they could learn how to do it better if they had a little instruction. So let's go over several mistakes people make when doing this, and then I will demonstrate the correct way to do it, or at least the way that I do it. Let's get started. All right, so I got my dad's trimmer today. This is a Stihl FS 111. So, you know, commercial grade Stihl trimmer, and I use the speed feed heads. They're great, and we can talk about those. But this is the smaller speed feed head. It doesn't hold as much line, but I feel like it doesn't put as much strain on the trimmer and spins faster. So I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out the speed feed head. So, all right, we're gonna edge here, get started, crank this thing up. And the first mistake I'm going to show you that people do, I feel like, is they let their line get too short. Now, all right, you already noticed I don't have a guard on here. That helps me be able to see better. It allows me to have a longer line. We could talk about that later. I know when I do these videos, it's almost without a doubt that I'm going to get a comment about people saying, put the guard back on, you know, you're an idiot, you don't have the guard. And so go ahead, put that on there if you want to. First comment, just go ahead and tell me that I don't have the guard. I need to put the guard. Here's your best tip of the day, is put the guard on. I mean, same comments, but let's get a little more creative with it. You know, something about put my eye out. I can be a pirate for Halloween if once I put my eye out with no guard or something. So give me some flavor in your comments instead of just saying put the guard back on. But I don't use a guard. I'm not going to put the guard back on. I'm going to use it without a guard. Let's get started. Line too short. Now what happens is, if you make this mistake, the line gets so short because you're going to chip away the line more likely doing this than just doing, you know, regular trimming around the house or something. So if it gets too short, what happens is, well, one, you're just chewing away the line, but if it gets too short, it might get all the way up inside the head, and then you got to take the cap off and pull it, you know, fix it all, and that's just a real pain. So, you know, don't let, to me this is a little bit too short, and this is probably 4 inches. I like it a little longer than that, but you'll see as I start doing this how it's going to grind down and get real short, and it's hard to do a good job. Video's sake, I made it even shorter. So, you know, when your line looks like that, it's hard to do a good job edging. All right, now, put it back on me. Now I can edge like that. I can edge with a little short line, but again, look at that. And if it goes all the way down in there, it's a real pain to get it back out. So that's one mistake. Let me just show you as far as technique, and I'll go over this. As far as how I hold the trimmer when I'm edging, is I'm holding it like this to trim. I flip it upside down, and then I just use my thumb on the trigger is all I'm doing. So the whole idea is to get your trimmer at a 90-degree angle, as straight up and down as possible. So we'll go over that. Next mistake that you can do is not keeping your trimmer at a vertical angle. So if you at a 90-degree angle. So if you've got it leaned too far back toward you, then what happens is you're not getting a straight up and down edge. Now that's not the end of the world, but if we're trying to do it right, you know, let's get right. So let me show you, if you got it the wrong angle, what happens. That's how I like the line, about maybe 6 to 8 inches long. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go to a fresh I did there, like I said, I didn't have it at a 90-degree angle, and the line is more at a 45-degree angle, or not, maybe 60 degree, and you're not getting a clean edge. The grass is still hanging over the sidewalk too far. Now that's from standing on the sidewalk side. I don't really have a preference if you stand on the sidewalk or the grass side. I kind of prefer the sidewalk side, but if I do it over here on this side, and I've got it leaned back too far, what's going to happen is you're going to take the grass too far away from the sidewalk. Let me show you that. Now what happened there, you know, like I said, I got it leaned too far back at an angle, and it's not terrible if you do it one time, but what happens over time, you ever see those yards that you'll do, and it seems like there's like a 4-inch gap between the sidewalk and where the grass begins, and I think that's part of it. You know, they just having it, they keep taking more and more grass away. But anyway, you know, the whole idea is to get a nice vertical clean edge, and so that requires getting your string trimmer vertical. So the line, so you can, some people hold up on their shoulder like this. I don't particularly like the motor being right there by my ear hole, so I kind of just, you know, hold it more like this and use my thumb with the trigger. All right, another mistake people do is having their line too long. Now if you have a guard on, again, I don't have a guard on, but if you have a guard on, then you're not going to have your line too long. But when you get a line too long, it just doesn't cut right. Let me show you. Alright, so you got a line like that. It's too long, the line gets tangled up sometimes. I mean, I can edge like that, but like I said, the line is so long, it starts getting tangled up into each other, and it's not, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's spinning in a perfect circle. It starts kind of wobbling a little bit, and you know, you just don't need line that long, to be honest with you. On these speed feed heads, when it gets too long, all you gotta do is just wind it up a couple of clicks to get it back where you want it. So, all right, another thing I see people do sometimes is it's like they're actually trying to dig a trench instead of edging it. So they're just digging too deep. When you're edging your sidewalk, I mean, you really just need to use the very tip of the line. All you're trying to do is cut the grass. You're not really trying to dig a ditch. So let me show you what happens when sometimes people just go too deep. And again, if you do that over and over again, I think that contributes to having a real deep edge. I mean, you don't have to bring in a load of dirt to fill in your ditch you've dug when you're trying to edge. You see there, I've got the line, and that's too wide of a gap in my opinion, and then I'm just digging a big old trench because I'm digging too deep. Now I'm just doing that for the sake of this video, but that's not, you know, ideal in my opinion. Like I said, over time that's going to keep getting wider and deeper. So just use the very tip of the line when you're edging so you don't end up with something like this. Another mistake people make, I have seen people, they'll get out there and they're trying to edge without glasses on, you know. So I mean, definitely wear your glasses. You're more likely to throw stuff up at your face doing this than you would be just normal trimming. So more important to have your glasses on. Let me show you one other thing, and I think this is just kind of incorrect position of how to hold the trimmer. I see homeowners do this sometimes. Now let me say this, like if, for instance, like let's say I was teaching you how to play golf, and I wouldn't do that because I'm not good enough golfer, but the example golfer I'm thinking of is Jim Furyk. You know, he's a professional golfer, but he has a terrible looking swing. Well, if you have a terrible form on edging but you get good results, then that's fine, go with it. But while we're learning, why not, let's just try to learn a good form to give us a better chance of being successful. So here's one way that I see homeowners do this sometimes. Not all of them, obviously. Some homeowners are probably better at it than the people do it all the time. But I have seen, saw somebody doing this the other day. Let me show you. So that was kind of the way they were doing it. They hold it sideways and they kind of walk like this. Now I think in the lawn business, another mistake, we won't talk about this, but it's just being slow. So you got to get this down where you can move faster. Now you might say, well, why not just use a stick edger? Well, I think a stick edger is great, and I think it gives you a nice clean edge almost every time. It's very easy to use. And so I have no problems with people using a stick edger, but this is something that you can learn how to do. There might be a situation where there's a little bit of edging and you don't want to have to go back and get another tool, or you might want to edge around a flower bed or something where this makes more sense than a stick edger. So it is something that you can learn. Maybe you don't have a stick edger and you just want to learn how to do this just to learn how. So there's other reasons, but I have nothing against stick edgers. They're great. All right, so again, showing you real quick how I do it. The idea, getting your line vertical. I'm sitting here trimming, and it's real quick. Like I said, speed is important when you're in the lawn bed. So I'm trimming, and then I flip it over with one quick move there. I'm just trimming, and then you just flip it over. It's easy. I'm just holding like this, flip it. So I'm using my finger, and then I flip it. Now I'm using my thumb. It's so easy. I'm holding the top of the handle. When I flip it, now I'm holding the side of the handle and using my thumb. And then I've got it held up a little bit to get it at a 90-degree angle. I don't care if you stand on the sidewalk side or stand on the grass side, whatever, whatever works for you. So let me demonstrate. I'm gonna go down the rest of this driveway and then back up the other side, and let's see how it goes. Oh, let me say this. Sometimes people say don't walk backwards, don't walk forward. It's obviously more natural to walk forward. I don't care which way you walk. I can do both. I can walk backwards, forwards. Doesn't matter. But anyway, it is obviously more natural to walk forward. Sometimes you might have to go over it and go in one way, and if it doesn't quite get all of it because it hadn't been edged a while, you might have to go back over it. The other comment, if you're looking for another comment, sometimes the one I get is, if you'd have done that at my house, I would have fired you, or I would get fired if I, so, if you want to put that one on there, that's always a good one to leave, is to say that I would have fired you if I did that sloppy of a job at my house. That makes everybody feel better about themselves. Let me do the other side. Gun edge. The last thing I say about, you got to know which way your head is spinning. So if I've got it like this, the head's spinning and it's going to be most likely throwing the debris that way. So if there's a window over there, a car, then you're going to want to switch over and get on the other side to throw, to give it the best chance of not throwing debris towards something that could get broke. Now, you got to be careful. You got to know what you're doing and try to use precautions. Let's see how it turned out. Again, once you get it established, it's easier to maintain it, but this one wasn't bad at all. So, not perfect. Again, a stick edger, it's almost going to be perfect every time. But I think that's a nice, clean enough edge. Let's see how this side looks. Not bad. I think that's an edge that we can live with, and at least I can. All right, Jason Creel, I appreciate you watching the video. Hopefully you learned something, some of the common mistakes people make when edging, and then maybe learned how to do it the correct way. Go ahead and leave a comment below. If I'd love to engage you with the comments, and if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, click the bell beside the subscribe button. YouTube will let you know when I make new content. Or click Lawn Care Life below. That'll show you the videos I've done in the past. I think there's over 500 videos. And like I said, I put the link. That speed feed head's one of the greatest inventions to lawn care, in my opinion. It's so easy to load the line, and you don't have to take the head off and wrap the line, that sort of thing. So you might want to check that out in the link below. Talk to you later. Appreciate you watching. Bye.